Hey, welcome. So today we're going to dive into BimiLeap, which is this really incredible tool that helps you understand why people make the choices they do. Seriously, it puts the power of a science called Mind Genomics right in your hands, taking what used to be a super complex corporate tool and making it something you can actually master, like right now. This quote really gets to the heart of it all. Mind Genomics isn't about what people choose, but the hidden inner logic behind why they choose it. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this amazing science and show you step by step how to build your very first study. And here's the best part, and I'm not kidding. You can build a complete, scientifically solid study in about an hour. So we're going to take a guided tour together. I'll walk you through every single step using the actual screens from the platform so you'll know exactly what to expect and what to do. So here's the game plan for our tour. We'll start with the big picture, then walk through the build process screen by screen. We're going to spend a little extra time on the two most critical skills, mastering the 4 lenses and crafting your 16 ideas, before we finally get you ready to launch. Okay, before we jump in and start clicking buttons, it's super helpful to see the high-level map of the whole process. Understanding the blueprint makes building the house a whole lot easier. The main thing to see here is that this isn't some chaotic, complicated thing. It's a really clear 7-step process. We'll give our study a title, create the core questions and answers, add a few classifications, tweak the settings, pick who's going to take the study, and then we publish. It's totally manageable. And this, right here, this is the magic of the whole thing. It's a partnership. You bring the ideas, the strategy, the creativity. BimiLeap does all the heavy lifting. It handles the complicated science, the statistics, the randomization, all of it. You just focus on the what. The platform handles the how. All right, let's do this. It's time to begin the guided tour. We're now heading into the platform itself, and we're going to go screen by screen through the whole initial setup. So the very first screen you'll see is super simple. You're just giving your study a name for your own files. Think of it like naming a document on your computer. My advice, make it clean and practical, so when you come back in a month, you'll actually know what it is. Okay, let's slow down for a second, because we've just arrived at what is, without a doubt, the single most important conceptual part of your study. Getting these 4 lenses right is what will make your results incredibly clear and powerful. This screen is so important. What you're doing right here is creating the scientific scaffolding for your entire study. You're defining the 4 basic ways of looking at your topic, and these 4 questions are the foundation for everything that comes next. Let's use this image as our guide, because it really helps make sense of it. We're going to look at our topic through 4 totally distinct human perspectives. Think of them as different camera lenses. Each one gives you a unique view. Let's break them down one by one. First up, we've got the emotional lens. This one is all about the human center, the feelings, the hopes, the anxieties. It's that internal, gut-level reaction to whatever your topic is. Second is the practical lens. This is your boots-on-the-ground perspective. It's all about the concrete, real-world stuff. How much will it cost? How much time will it take? What's the effort involved? It asks, what will this actually take to get done? Third, we have the social lens. This view looks outward. It thinks about group dynamics, what the community might think, how it affects relationships. How are other people going to see this? And finally, there's the moral lens. This is all about fairness, ethics, and responsibility. It asks that really fundamental question, is this the right thing to do? Now, here is the absolute #1 rule. These 4 lenses must be distinct. If they overlap, it weakens the whole study. Now, you might see this Idea Coach button on the screen. It can be a handy little brainstorming assistant if you feel stuck, but it's really important you understand its role. It's just an optional tool, not some kind of automated solution. Let's be super clear about this. Idea Coach goes out and searches the internet and brings you back some raw material, just a list of general questions. What it does not do is the important part. It won't categorize them into the 4 lenses, it won't check if they're any good, and it won't spot any overlap. That is your job as the researcher, and that's what keeps your study scientifically sound. Okay, great. We've defined our 4 lenses. Now it's time to move on to the second core skill, taking those lenses and bringing them to life by creating the 16 specific ideas that become the building blocks for your whole study. So on this screen, you'll see your 4 questions listed, and for each one of them, you're now going to write 4 distinct answers. This is where you fill your framework with the actual concepts you want to test out. And you can see here how it all comes together so beautifully. Each lens or question gets 4 unique answers, creating this perfect 4x4 grid. These 16 little ideas are exactly what your respondents are going to be reacting to. So, what makes for a good answer? Well, first off, they gotta be short, clear, and concrete. They also have to reflect genuinely different points of view that a real person might have. And just like with the questions, they absolutely cannot overlap in meaning. That variety is what gives the math its power.
We've officially made it through the 2 hardest parts of the build. You did the heavy lifting. The rest of this is mostly just finalizing the details before you're ready to launch your study and see what the data has to say.
These next 2 screens are pretty straightforward. You have the option to add classification questions, things like, are you familiar with this topic, which just helps you slice and dice your data later. You also have to write a short, neutral orientation message to give your respondents a little context. Okay, when you get to the rating scale screen, here is a major pro tip. The default is a 9-point scale. I strongly recommend you change it to 5 points. A 5-point scale, like from strongly disagree to strongly agree, gives you much clearer data, and honestly, it's just way easier for people to use. We're here. The very last step before you hit publish. On this screen, you get to decide who is actually going to take your study, and you've got some really powerful options. You can choose between synthetic and human respondents. Think of it like this. Synthetic respondents are AI personas. They are incredibly fast, they're free right now, and they're absolutely perfect for testing out a study design or just for learning the system. Human respondents are what you use when you need that real-world nuance, especially for a high-stakes topic or if you're presenting the results to your boss. And that's it. You've built a study. You now have a tool that lets you see the hidden patterns, that inner logic behind why people do what they do. So the only question left is, what are you going to discover?